Hey guys, I'm aware some of you may be on a budget, so I'm going to be going over the under $5 games currently on Steam that are on sale for the summer 2016 sale. Now, this is more of a personal recommendations list for people that I know are interested, like friends and family. So it's not exactly 100% my interest, but other people's as well. So I'm going to get started here. This is Age of Empires 2. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's a pretty straightforward real-time strategy game. It pretty much grew the market for the real-time strategy games in there. Of course, it's a pretty standard RTS. You grow a farm, you grow a civilization, a lot of different civilizations to choose from, and then you fight other people, whether it's online or against computers. It's more popular online, I would say. Uh, a lot of different game mechanics in there, a lot of fun to be had. If you're not that familiar, or if you heard about it and you want to get an RTS, this is a great one to start with. Currently it's on sale for only $3. Let's go into the next one here. This is Worms Armageddon. You may or may not be familiar with it. You get worms. It's a turn-based game. Each one takes a turn, and they use a certain weapon to damage the other worms, whether knocking them off into the water or simply damaging them enough until they literally explode. This game is also in a good sale here, $2.24, and if you're familiar with Worms games or Team 17 games, they have a whole bunch of Worms games on sale right now at 92% off. That includes a lot of their DLC and stuff like that, so it's a pretty good deal going on this sale. Going a little bit further here, sorry about that. This is Golf with Your Friends. Now, I got gifted this recently, and they have been continually updating it. It's still like an early access, in a sense, game, as it says. So there will be bugs. Now, essentially, what you do is it's kind of like a mini golf game. You try to get your ball into the hole. Uh, I have a review on that, which I'll be attaching. It's a pretty straightforward game. Obviously, the quicker you get the ball in the hole, the better the score and the better you'll do in the game against others. You can play with people online, or you can play with your friends in a private game. It's really up to you. It has a lot of positive reviews. It's a very popular game, as you guys can see here, with 1,800 positive reviews and only 114 negative currently. I had a negative review with this initially, but I changed it to positive because they are continually updating it and making it better and less bugs every time I play. With a price tag of $4.79, that's a little cheap because it's only on 20% sale, but it's worth picking up for under $5 if you're into golf games. Now, of course, I'm going to add Terraria. Generally, if you don't have it yet or you never played it, or you're looking for a different way to play a platformer, this is a little bit different. This is actually, in a sense, 2D Minecraft. Uh, the interesting thing is it's a more dynamic platformer. It's personally one of my favorites. It's hard to keep people in the game and join servers and stuff like that to continue to play, but in general, if you find a good group of friends to play with, you can have many, many hours of fun with this. Just going through, even you can see that there's a lot of different content, and there's a lot of different workshop items and a whole bunch of stuff going on for that, so it's worth checking out. Hotline Miami, you may or may not be familiar with. It's not exactly the most pleasant game, but it's a good, like a top-down shooter, I would say. Um, they indicate it as an indie game, violent game, of course. You go around, you try to get scores with like points, and you continue on with the game. There's a little bit of a storyline going on. It's a very popular game. They came out with a second one recently. It's on my list of recommendations for not me particularly, but a lot of my friends do like it, and it's something you might like as well if you're into that. Of course, with Half-Life 3 coming out very soon, I figured I might as well let you guys know that Half-Life 2 is on sale to get you excited about the Half-Life 3 release. Now, going into some details here, if you don't know what Half-Life is and Half-Life 2, it's essentially what brought Steam to life with the funding from Half-Life and Half-Life 2, and then they created Steam. It's definitely worth checking out. Um, this doesn't really show you much, but it's a pretty unique shooter game. And now the first one, I personally like the first one better, but if you're into um, shooters and like a puzzle type game, it's worth picking up for $2. Um, I heard that Half-Life 3 will be coming out sometime next year, but not really. Going into the next one here, this is Valkyrie Chronicles. Um, it's unique, to say the least. Now it's kind of like a churn-based military strategy game, I guess would be the best representation. Some people might find it challenging. I find it quite fun, but it involves a lot of tactical aspects to it. If you're not careful, you can lose pretty quickly. It's not your standard RPG, but it is a lot of fun. It's currently on sale for $5, so it's a great game to pick up, and it's a HD remastered version. This is another interesting one here, going into different details here. Essentially, it's a platformer where you play as two brothers. It's a pretty standard game. You go around, it's kind of survivalist, exploring a nice open world. Um, there is a little bit of a story to it. It's kind of an adventure, kind of interesting. It's worth checking out if you're not familiar. It has a very nice end storyline as well. Um, Only $1.50 on sale. Definitely worth picking up. Now this game, I really like. Um, I did end up beating it. Unfortunately, it gets a little bit repetitive as you go further into the game. The monsters start to be very similar and all that kind of stuff. If you're familiar with Alice in Wonderland, this is like if she went crazy. It's a unique take on it. It's a kind of 3D dynamic platformer, and of course you can attack and stuff too. Um, Unique weapons and everything like that. You can play it for a while. It's definitely worth $5. The ending, in my opinion, was rather predictable, but it was still worth playing. Now this one, if you're familiar with Rockstar Games, you might be familiar with like Vice City and all that kind of stuff, or San Andreas, or the GTA 5, the new one. This is made by these same people, but this is kind of an obscure one. You play essentially uh, as a bully. Worth checking out. It's like an open world bully game. There's a storyline to it. It's not as good as the other ones, but it's worth checking out. Only $3. Psychonauts, you guys might be familiar with. It's a old school platformer. It's a pretty unique, dynamic game. Interesting storyline and all of that. At only 99 cents, 90% off. It's definitely worth checking out. It was on a sale recently in a dollar bundle with some other games, but this is still a great sale for a great game. This is yet another platformer, but you kind of just jump around on this one. It's more a testbed, a demo of future VR and all that kind of stuff. But they made a game out of it, and it turned out to be pretty fun and, of course, aesthetically pleasing as well. It's worth checking out, especially at 80% off. Now, this is one of my personal favorites, kind of an obscure 2D platform where you go around, race around as a ninja. You go and attack different bosses, different monsters, get points, get power-ups, all that kind of stuff. Lots of unlockables, uh, lots of replayability. They even added custom levels not too long ago. It's definitely worth checking out for only $1.74. Now, this is kind of an obscure one, but I'm going to be recommending it anyways. If you want more of like a, I don't know, a discount Shovel Knight, I guess you could say, but with a DuckTales theme to it. It's pretty fun. It's not groundbreaking or anything like that, but it is a unique, fun little platformer to play if you got some spare time. If you're into DuckTales or games like that, it's not much different. It's worth checking out, so check it out for only $4.94. Metal Slug, you guys may or may not be familiar with. Essentially, it is a shooter game, but it's like a side-scroller shooter. It's interesting to say the least. The downside is it can crush a lot. Yeah, crash a lot. It can crash a lot if you play too long, or you have too many assets on the screen. That's kind of a downside, but the game itself is pretty fun. It's kind of the arcade reminiscent game that you'd love to see. And if arcades still really exist, which in some places they do, for only $4, it's definitely worth checking out. They do also have some of the other games on sale if you like Metal Gear. Yeah, Metal Gear. If you like Metal Slug. Sorry, screwing this one up a lot. On to the next one here. Trine 3, Trine 4. There's no Trine 4 yet, but I'm sure they're going to be releasing one. This is definitely a unique one. Unlike your standard platformer, they actually expanded a little bit. 3D version. I'm not sure why it has negative reviews. It was actually pretty fun. If you're familiar with the other Trine games, this is definitely a nice addition. It's rather short, though. I guess maybe that might be the downside to it. Last on the list here is a unique RPG. If you haven't played it before, it's I guess it's similar to Star Ocean if you're familiar with that in regards to gameplay and actionability. Quite a unique story. It's quite odd that not many people really know about or have played it, but it's worth checking out. Um, Unique characters and all of that. I do appreciate you guys checking out this video. It was a little bit longer than the other ones, but I had a lot of different games to cover. Uh, if you'd like to, you can subscribe, like this video, and share it with others. Thanks for listening in, and have a nice day.